Why and how do I stand in front of you here today? It's really about my passion for mentoring. Why do you ask, would any sane person 17 years into a very successful career in sales and marketing give it all up, spend their weekends and nights, and go back to school to get 3 certifications? My love of mentoring. I have mentored so many people, and I got to the end of the road, and when I finally realized what I loved about sales and marketing and what I loved about leading my team is I loved mentoring. I have mentored so many people in my career, and I've been mentored by so many people in my career. And it was my love of mentoring that made me decide after all of those years that I was going to give it up, go back to school, become a coach, and I was going to do it full time. So I have a really interesting story, but because it's kind of like the story that I'm going to tell today, because here my worlds are colliding. I am here at Red Robin, where I've always come before to sell you product, and I am here today not as your Loving Keisha's rep. I am here today as Joan from Powerful Possibilities Coaching talked to you about mentoring. Well, last week, there are absolutely no coincidences in life. I was at Loving Keisha's Gourmet for the first time doing a lunch and learn under the Powerful Possibilities label. The reason I'm doing it is because I'm running out the door all the time doing these lunch and learns, and they finally said to me, you know, charity starts at home. Maybe you'd like to do a lunch and learn for us. And I'm thinking, you know, it's one thing to do a lunch and learn for strangers. Not that any of you are really strangers, I know you all. But it's another thing to do it in your own backyard. So I've been avoiding doing a lunch and learn or anything that had to do coaching in my own corporate office. I'm especially avoiding it because, as you all know, all my family members are there. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do this, but I'm going to plan it really well. I'm going to do it on a day that my mother is off. I knew my brother was going to be in Arkansas, so I'm totally going to do that. And I know that it's not mandatory, so there is no way that my daughter is going to come because she doesn't do anything that's not mandatory. Okay, so luck would have it. My mother switches her day off. Trip to Arkansas is canceled, and my daughter is sitting in the front row with a pad and paper. So I'm like, seriously? But I have to go on. So I'm standing in front of the room, and I'm doing my lunch and learn, and I always ask for audience participation, because I'm going to ask you guys for audience participation. And every single time I ask for participation, the kid raised her hand. And you know, after a while, it's getting ridiculous. So I finally had to say, all right, enough already, we understand. But I'm beaming inside because something dawned on me. The kid was listening. All of these years, the kid was listening. Now, for those of you who know me, I have mentored a million people. And my heart and my line is always open. If I mentor you, my mentors know you can call me any day. I'm a text message away. I am a phone call away. I'm an emergency signal away. Send me a smoke signal. If you don't call me, I'm going to find you. But my kids were raised on a backdrop of mentoring conversations. What I did not realize is they were listening. Who knew? So for every pot of spaghetti that I stirred while I talked one of you off the ledge, for every term paper that I was correcting while also doing a resume, and for every mock interview that I was conducting while making a papier-mâché volcano, my kids were taking in that information. I just never realized. Now here's the cool thing. Mentoring is about full circle because I was raised on a backdrop of mentoring conversations because my mother, as we all know, was one of the industry icons who went into business long before many women even worked. So I was raised on a backdrop of mentoring conversations. My kids were raised on a backdrop of mentoring conversations. And here I am today, standing in front of you, changing my career. It's all about mentoring. So I ask you the question, why is this story so important? Doesn't mentoring start in early childhood? Isn't mentoring crucial to personal development and building confidence? Aren't these 2 elements vital to everybody's success? So I ask you the question, everybody dig deep. Who were your childhood mentors? Who helped shape your career? Can you guys remember? And more importantly, who have you helped influence and push up the corporate ladder? Can anybody answer that question? Have you been mentored? Have you paid it forward? Have you gone back out and have you helped form other people's lives? So, who were my early influencers? My mother. My mother was an early adopter. In the 70s, nobody worked. My mother worked. I was used to having a working mother. Work-life balance, I learned that there was not necessarily work-life balance, there was work-life choices. But I learned that. That's something I passed on to the people that I mentor. My grandfather, building personal boards. He was the consummate networker. My grandfather taught me that you needed to find the person that was the best at the career that you wanted, and you had to make them your friend, because you needed to pick their brain. That I've learned from my grandfather. I have taught that to every person that I mentor. My grandmother, queen of non-judgment, she took in every single stray, and acceptance. I mean, I was writing a blog yesterday, and I'm writing this line because I'm on the plane, and people are trying to talk to me, and I'm like, don't let the noise-canceling headphones and the fact that I'm sleeping sway you. You are going to tell me your problems, and I'm going to listen. But that came from my grandmother, because that's what mentoring is. It's listening, and it's being selfless. My Aunt Phyllis, executive presence. That lady had style. She also taught me to fake it until you make it. Her biggest saying was, if you don't know how to play tennis, you needed to get the best outfit and learn how to hop over the net. That was great advice, and I've used that with many of the people that I mentor. This is good advice. This is something that I tell all the people that I mentor. Blue sky thinking, my brother. He made up the best games, and to this day, he's a great blue sky thinker. I'm an organizational development specialist. This makes a great partnership. My father, paying it forward. That is the single biggest element of mentoring. You will be mentored. You need to pay it forward. When I mentor somebody, they say to me, what do I need to do in return for being mentored? I say, you need to find somebody with a glint in their eyes, and you need to mentor them back. That's all I ask. Show up and do your homework and mentor back. It is something that we all have to do. So, full circle. I was very lucky. I was mentored by many people in my career. I've mentored many people back. At this point in my career, I don't have formal mentors, but I have a personal board of directors that is not for the faint of heart. I recommend that to everybody. It doesn't matter what part of your career is. Everybody needs advice. I'm going to talk about that more as we go along. But what is mentoring? It's about giving and taking. It's about caring and sharing. It's about listening and talking. But most importantly, it's about paying it forward. So I ask you, how and why do I stand in front of you today? Why did I give up my nights and weekends? Why did I give up my career of sales and marketing? It's very simple. It's my passion for mentoring. I get to do this all day long, and I couldn't be happier.